Right, we're here today on Woodford Reservoir, and as you know, in winter carp are really hard to catch, and especially today because we've had a few days rain and the water is stupidly coloured. It's like chocolate. So hopefully I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks on how to put a few carp in your net. Right, so especially on this venue in winter, and probably most big water carp venues, the fish in winter, they go away from you. They tend to hang at distance. So today we're going to be fishing 70 metres plus. We're going to be starting at 70 metres, and we're probably going to finish 80 plus, I would think, something like. So you need some good terminal. You need some good tattle, and something that's going to get you there, and something you know that's not going to break. Right. So starting with the rod, I'm starting off at 70 metres. So I'm using a 12-foot CTX power feeder special, coupled up with a 6,500 size reel, 10-pound detection shock leader onto 5-pound reel line. Well, the shock leader, as you know with detection, you're not going to break 10-pound on a cast, and the 5-pound will help you get the distance. Maybe you need to go to 4 sometimes, but I don't feel I need to go to 4-pound. 5-pound for me is perfect. 5-pound and 10-pound is perfect. And if I do want to go further, I've got a 13-foot, which I'm going to go further today. I've got a 13-foot set up as well for when I need to start creeping. Right, so the feed I'm using today, which is really important, is an ICS Preston ICS banjo. It's a 30 gram, and I've added some weight on the bottom to get you, not to get more distance, but they just cast a lot better. Now the setup, I've got this off my European friends. It's the inline stem with a piece of stiff rig tube shoved in the stem to make it longer. I'll push that back on. Now, not only this, it might look a bit strange, but it does help with the casting. It stops the feeder from tumbling when you're casting a long way. It keeps it straight and true. It's perfect. It's perfect for this. And if I am getting line bites, what I've found, you put a longer stem on to pin your feeder down even more, and it stops the liners if you don't want to see the liners. So you've noticed I'm starting on a large Preston banjo. I always use large on here. I think basically big water, big feeder. You know, you've got to get them to come to your feeder, and I just think a little feeder, the smaller sizes, there's no attraction in it for me. I just don't get bites on it, because the larger feeder, obviously I can put more bait on it, and I can leave it a long time, up to 45 minutes, maybe an hour at times. And this, for me, it's always fishing. Right, so the Kamasan T360, this is my #1 go-to hook for carp fishing. They're strong, they're sharp, you know, they're just right. They never go blunt. Right, for instance, if anybody's seen me on Facebook on the freestyle Iberian a few months ago, I had 47 kilos on one hook. That says it all, really, doesn't it? Right, so as you know, in winter carp fishing, you ain't really gonna, plain pellets sometimes just don't cut it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I've just found that starting off dead plain, well not dead plain, but just flavouring first. So I've got the Sono bait booster Power Scopex. That's just in my 2 mils to start with, and that's how I'm going to start off today. Just that, nothing else, just that, just to see what's happening, and then I'll start tweaking as the day goes on. I'll have the 8 mil Bandom wafters and Bandom sinkers. See which one's best in the day. I've got a feeling it's going to be a sinker's day, but we'll see. And I've got here something I've been messing about with for the last year and a half. It's and I use it when I can, because obviously some places that seed baits are banned, but this is a seed bait, and it's couscous. I just find that couscous, it takes the colour and the flavours really well, and you can add it to your pellets to give some extra attraction. You can actually I would say you can actually over liquid it, and it's still alright, it still works. So I've got the pink one, which is the krill and squid. Basically you just soak it in the morning, you just soak it the night before or in the morning, whenever you want to do it. Don't over soak it, just so it's just covered. Let it soak like a pellet, wait till it's soaked all the water up, put your liquid on, stir it up, and that's what you get. I do this because it's more attraction. And I think in winter attraction's everything, especially in coloured water like this. Something for the fish to home in on. Not only is it visible, they can smell it as well. And another advantage with the couscous, they're like an half pellet, so you're kind of filling your gaps in. As everybody knows that a lot of time in distance fishing, you need to fill all your gaps in, and these fill the gaps in as well. Right, so first chuck at day, often the most important. You need to get it right, so we'll just load us hybrid up like so. Nice heavy base on to start. I always start with my hookbait in the middle. Nice flat bed. Going out to 70 metres to start. Here we are, nice and flat, nice and aerodynamic. We'll have a chuck. Set the stopwatch. We started at 70 metres. I just feel today that with the colour, I don't think you'll need to go as far as you normally do. So I've started at 70. It is quite windy, which gives me, because I've started at 70, it does give me options to go further. If I started at 80 and the wind did get stronger, you know, you're kind of struggling. But it kind of gives you an idea what's going off sometimes. I mean, on here, my usual starter, especially in winter, I usually start at 70, 75, and if I don't get a bite, I just unclip to 90. And that's because I know usually if you get bites early, you can start creeping and following fish out. But if you don't get a bite, usually, if you don't get a bite first half an hour, usually, I just move and go out to 90, and that's where I sit, because I kind of get a feeling that it's going to be the last hour or the last half an hour I'm going to get bites, and that's where you usually catch them. Right, so I'm fishing two different hookbaits today. I've got the 8mm Bandam Wafters Sonu and the 8mm Bandam Sinkers. I tend on here to catch a lot of fish on sinkers. For me, I think they either want it in the feeder or out of the feeder. Now, if I'm fishing sinkers, I'm pretty convinced, or I'm 100% sure that when I'm fishing and I put the hookbait in the correct place, the sinkers stay in the method. Because I think sometimes if you've got too big a spread and your hookbait's somewhere round about, the actual carp can come in and eat from in and around your feeder and not actually get your hookbait. But with the sinkers, I think this does help me, our fish, because the bait stays in the feeder. Let's say, I think it just enhances your chances of getting a bite, because when they come down, they actually, and I load the feeder up, they actually come down and suck everything up from the feeder. Now with the wafters, obviously with wafters, they explain everything. If they set up right, they're wafting around, if you know what I mean, and there's a slight little bit more attraction for them. And sometimes I do catch with wafters, but not all the time. So I just like to alternate between the two baits, and I tend to find that one is better than the other on the day, but usually when it's hard like this, I think on this venue, the sinkers are better. Right, there's a few people asked me about this, and it's something I've been doing for, I would say, best part of 10 years. There's been a few adaptations, but I've settled on this one now, and it's what I call my rattle tin. So basically, it's just a normal Tupperware box with a lid, as you can see. So there's two benefits for this for me. When I want to put some flavour in my pellets, or extra flavour in my pellets, get the tub, get the flavour. Little bit in the lid, pour it on. Lid on, get hold and check it. That'll be enough, and you get perfect distribution onto your pellets. There's no point, there's no need to going around with your hand and trying to get, because you end up with little bits in corners and more in places where you don't need it. But that now is perfectly distributed. Other benefit is, on the hot days, just shut the lid off, keep it down, and everything stays, for me, the perfect consistency. Lid on, lid off, that's how you do it. I do exactly the same with ground bait when I'm normal feeder fishing. I do exactly the same with that. You can knock my ground baits up, put some in, bit of water, lid on, check it up, perfect distribution, that's it.